everyone, I'm Sara SAch, and welcome or welcome back to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to crochet a hanging basket. Now I'm using this one for herbs in my kitchen, but you can use these for lots of different things. They work great indoors and outdoors. You can use them by putting those battery-operated tea lights in them and maybe hang them around the banister or edging of your backyard, maybe on the fence or around a deck, and they're just gorgeous lit up at night because we have these great big holes in them. Now remember, don't put real candles in them or it might burn, okay? Use those tea lights that you just click on with a battery. But they're good for lots of other things as well. Like I said, I'm hanging mine in the kitchen for my herbs and spices, so I can have them fresh for when I'm cooking. They're also great as a gift. Fill them with flowers. Hang them in your bathroom and put your hair accessories or makeup in them. They have lots of great uses. And it has this nice little loop on the back, so you can just hang it up and it works great. Now it measures approximately 7 inches tall and about 14 inches around. So it's a nice size for your average pot that you can buy from your gardening center. But what I do is I just save some containers, and this is the container that is my favorite. It works best in this. It's a nice sturdy container and it's plastic, because I like to use my AeroGarden pods and put them in there and just add water. But of course you can use any type of container that you would like. To make your hanging basket, you're going to need some yarn, of course. I designed this one using the Jute Hemp yarn, sustainable stitching from Lion Brand. It is labeled as a medium 5, but what it is it's made up of several strands, and they're not even wound together, they're just held together. And when you hold that together, it's actually similar to your basic medium 4 cotton yarns. And when I stitched it up in the cotton yarn, this one is a Premier cotton, when I stitched it up in this yarn, it came out just about the same size. So you don't have to have the hemp yarn to make your hanging baskets. It's an interesting yarn to work with. It's a little bit different because it is not wound together. They're just held together. But it makes a really nice sturdy basket. And so if you don't have this yarn, grab some of your Premier yarn, some of the ones that are like peaches and cream, sugar and cream, that are a little bit stiffer of a yarn, I think would work best for this project. And you're going to need approximately 2 to 2.5 ounces, depending on how tightly that you stitch. We're going to be stitching today with an eye hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need your scissors, and then you just need a needle for weaving in your ends. Oh, and don't forget, if you're going to put plants or flowers in it, or you just want a container inside, make sure you get one. Now, a jar, like a mason jar, will work just fine, and they have those in plastic. But I like to reuse some of my containers like this. This is a 1-pint ice cream container. It was really yummy, and I saved the container. We're going to begin with our slip knot, and we're going to chain 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to join this into a circle. So we'll take the tail of our yarn and put it over our hook and pull that through. Then we'll just snug everything down and then tie that stay knot so our circle doesn't come undone. We'll put our hook in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. This chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet. Now we're going to stitch 11 more, so we have a total of 12. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through the second 2 loops. Alright, so I have 2, so I need to stitch 10 more double crochets. Also, you will notice that I stitched over my tail of yarn. That way I can pull this and close up that hole. Let's see how many I've stitched. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so here's 10. 11 and 12. All right, so I have 12 double crochets. I'm going to join to my chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now I'm going to turn this over and gently pull on that string of yarn. I have tidied up the back of my circle by weaving in that end and closing up the hole in the center. Now for row 2, we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of these 12 double crochets. Our chain 3 counts as our first, so we'll go right in that first stitch and stitch a second double crochet. And I will say, stitching with this yarn, because it is not held together tightly with these strands, it's just a little bit challenging, but it's worth it to work with it. All right, so now I'm going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of those 12 double crochets, working all the way around. And what we're doing here is forming the bottom of our bag. Also, working with this hemp yarn, I'm usually a pretty loose crocheter. My tension isn't as tight, but with this yarn I'm really holding that tension tight because it does have that splitty tendency, and so I want to make sure I hold that nice and tight. Just a tip on using this yarn. Alright, so I'm going to continue working around, stitching 2 double crochets in each of those 12 double crochet stitches. I have stitched 2 double crochets in each of those 12 double crochets, so I'm going to join to my chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now for row 3, we're going to repeat what we did on row 2. We're going to stitch a double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3, a little snug there, and then again we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in each of the 24 double crochets around. And this will give us a nice flat bottom to our basket. So we're stitching 2 double crochet stitches in each of the double crochets all the way around till we reach back to our chain 3. I have completed row 3, stitching 2 double crochets in each of our double crochets around. We started with 12 double crochets, row 2 had 24, and so row 3 has 48 double crochets. We joined to our chain 3 and chained 3. Now for row 4, we're going to be working in the back loops only. And if you look on the top of your row, you have loops on this side and loops on this side. We're going to be working in this side over here. These loops are your front loops and these loops are your back loops. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next double crochet, working in the back loop only. We're going to chain 2. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to stitch a double crochet in the next 2 stitches, working in the back loop only. And you'll notice that those loops on the front are not stitched in, and you'll have a row of loops working around that we are not going to stitch in. All right, so chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, and 1 double crochet in the next 2. You'll notice that your basket is starting to stand up. All right, chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, and 1 double crochet working in the back loops only in the next 2. And chain 2. And so what we're going to do is repeat this, working all the way around our basket. Chain 2, skip 2, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2, working in the back loops only. So I continued to stitch 2 double crochets working in the back loops only, chain 2, skip 2 all the way around, and you'll skip those last 2 stitches. Here's your chain 2, and join to your chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. All right, now for row 5, we're just going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next double crochet because our chain 3 counts as our first. We'll chain 2, then we'll double crochet in the next 2 double crochets. And chain 2. And that's our repeat around for row 5. 1 double crochet in the next 2 double crochets, and chain 2, and repeat all the way around. I completed row 5, stitching 1 double crochet in the next 2 double crochets, chain 2, and repeat all the way around. Then join back to my chain 3 and chained 3. And so what we're going to do is we're going to continue to repeat row 5 for 4 more rows. We'll repeat exactly what we did, 2 double crochets, 1 in each of the 2, chain 2, and repeat all the way around, and you'll repeat row 5 for 4 more rows. I have repeated those 4 rows. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of this open, looks like windows. I join to my chain 3, only this time I'm just going to chain 1. Now we're going to do a row of single crochet around the top of our basket. So I'm going to single crochet in the same stitch as that chain 1. Then I'll single crochet in the next double crochet. There we go. And then I'm going to place 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space. And that's our repeat for row 10. 1 single crochet in the 2 double crochets and 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space. And by only placing 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space, it's going to help close up the top of our basket just a little bit. Just enough. And then on the next row, we're going to decrease a little bit in order to get that shape that we're looking for. So for row 10, 1 single crochet in each of the 2 double crochets, 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space, and repeat, working all the way around the top of our basket. I've stitched that row of single crochet, stitching 1 single crochet in the 2 double crochets and 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space. We're going to join to the first single crochet. Don't join to the chain 1, join to the single crochet with a slip stitch and chain 1. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to stitch 1 single crochet in the next 12 stitches. So we're going to make sure we single crochet in this first one. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I single crocheted in the first 12 stitches. Now we're going to do 6 decrease stitches, or stitching 2 single crochets together, and we're going to do that 6 times. All right, so we're going to go in the first stitch and pull up a loop. Then we'll go in the next stitch and pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook instead of the 2. Yarn over and go through all 3 of those loops. Now we'll repeat that. So there's 2, stitching 2 single crochets together. Three, 4, 5, and 1 more. And what we've done is we've taken 12 single crochets and we stitched 6 decrease stitches, or stitching 2 single crochets together. And then what we'll do is we'll stitch 1 single crochet in those last 12 single crochet stitches. I stitched those last 12 single crochets. I'm going to join to the first single crochet with a slip stitch and chain 10. And this is going to form our loop so that we can hang it up. All right, so now we're going to join back to that same slip stitch. Now we'll go to the next single crochet and slip stitch, chain 1. And we're going to turn our work and we're going to stitch in this loop. And we're going to stitch 12 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, get that loop a little tighter there. There we go. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We chained 10, but we put 12 single crochets in our loop. All right, now we're going to join to the next single crochet with a slip stitch. Cut our yarn and tie off. All right, let's grab our needle. We'll flatten that out a little bit, make it easier to put in the needle. There we go. And now we're going to weave this in to the inside of our bag. And I like to make quite a few stitches. That's why I gave myself just a little bit of yarn, because I want that loop to be sturdy, because it's going to be holding one of my precious plants or whatever you would like to put in it. Doesn't have to be plants. All right, that looks good and sturdy. Pull that string out of there. There we go. And cut that off. And now I have a hanging basket. It's pulled in just a little on the front so we can hang it up, and it will have a little bit of a droop like this so we can put whatever we want inside. So I have my container, I have this basil, and it smells wonderful. And I can just slide that right inside and hang that up on my wall or my counter or wherever I want to hang this up. Isn't that beautiful? Now, before I let you go, I want to tell you there are some other options if you don't have the hemp yarn, okay? I'm going to put this right on that wet spot so you don't see it. You can use jute, and there is a hemp rope that you can use as well. Now, if you want to try to find those are usually over by the macrame type things, the different thicknesses of ropes and things like that. In your craft store, they're usually over by the macrame items. You can find a hemp rope that's about this thickness, and you can also find some jutes. And they work great for these also, especially if you're going to put them outside. So just some other options, and they also make those in different colors. This one is also made in different colors. I just wanted it to be a little bit more natural in my kitchen. So that's our hanging hemp basket.